Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar. Thanks for joining us. We'll shortly be joined by TBA board member Philip Newton and scheme manager Grant Pritchard-Gordon, who will be talking about the new Great British Bonus Scheme and what it means for the British breeding industry. If you have any questions during the talk, please do not hesitate to use the Q&A tool at the bottom of the screen and send us your queries. The talk will be around 30 minutes long, followed by an interactive Q&A session. We hope you enjoyed the webinar and welcome any feedback or ideas on future topics you'd like to discuss. And now over to Philip, who'll discuss this new scheme.
A new innovation for the TBA, and it's something that is perhaps if there can be such a thing, a COVID benefit that we'll be doing more of, and that we hope that you'll find them informative and instructive. And that what better to kick off with than the Great British Bonus. Before I commence my detail, just to let you know that this is not designed to give you an encyclopedic knowledge of the scheme, but just a good basic outline so that you're familiar with it. But what we will be telling you is where you can find an answer to all of your questions. We hope that we've covered all of the bases, and that Grant Pritchard-Gordon, who's the scheme manager, will direct you to the frequently asked questions on the website, and that is the Bible for the scheme. So what is the scheme? What is Great British Bonus? It's an industry self-help initiative that's funded by both breeders, owners, and principally the Horse Race Bedding Levy Board. It's providing incentives for breeders and owners to buy and race British bred fillies and mares under both codes of racing. It concentrates on fillies and mares because I think that we all generally will accept that they are more of a problem at the sales than colts are. And that they're also the seed corn of the industry. If we protect the mare herd, then we'll be protecting the breed. What we will be creating is a point of difference for a British bred filly. So why did we do it? Well, we've been working on it for some considerable period of time. In 2014, some 7 years ago now, 6 years ago now, that TBA very astutely decided that it needed the facts of the industry, and it instructed PwC at significant money, a great investment, to conduct an economic impact study into the importance of British thoroughbred breeding. It told us lots of facts. That there were 3,400 breeders in the UK, that we annually produced between around about 4,500 foals, that we were key to employment, 19,000 rural jobs that couldn't be replaced if you weren't there, and that we contributed £500 million of GDP contribution, and that in the racing industry overall provides a contribution of 4 billion GDP. So it's a proper industry. We're a shop window industry. We're a world-class industry. But we learned some alarming things. We learned that breeders were leaving the industry. We learned that foal production was uneconomic, that 40% of all product that was bred lost money. And that we learned a lot of other things as well. And that we worked from that base, that knowledge, because it was the first economic impact study. And the first thing that we did was that we went and talked to the BHA about improving the fillies and mares programme, both on the flat and over the jumps, and that MOPS was an outcome of that, which significantly changed the landscape as far as national hunt breeding was concerned, and that an increased and improved racing programme on the flat ended up with the fillies and mares Champions Day at Newmarket, Finals Day at Newmarket, which was very well received. we also introduced at a very small budget a marketing campaign called This Filly Can. And that was designed to highlight the attraction of fillies, to highlight the opportunity to buy them. And that Edward Marney of Tattersalls said it made a difference, but it didn't make enough of a difference. In 2018, we decided to reprise the economic impact study. The first one was important, but the second one was even more important. It was funded again by the TBA, but this time with help from the Levy Board and the Racing Foundation, and because they recognised what a game-changing document the first one was. But this one was even more alarming because we'd lost 300 breeders in that time, that jobs were at threat, that in addition to that, losing money on horses in the ring had gone from 40% to 60%. So we needed to do something. And that here we come to the art of the possible, because I realise that lots of people would have different views about how we might change the lot for breeders in this country. What some people would like would be something akin to the French system or the Australian system, but that wasn't politically possible in this country. What we had to do was work with what we got. We already had +10 running and we had MOPS running, and so it was understandable that we would concentrate on those and improve those opportunities. And that the outcome of that was Great British Bonus. It will make a difference. It's a hugely important step forward, and it's a first step as far as the TBA is concerned. But actually it's not. It's a third or fourth step, because if you go back to improving the racing programme, to introducing MOPS, to introducing This Filly Can, that GBB is the fourth step along the road, and that the TBA doesn't intend to stop here. But little steps have to be taken now. So who wins from this scheme? Well, everybody does. And owners will benefit significantly. We have to look at this and attract all sections of the racing industry. We want everybody to buy into this scheme. It's so important. And so whilst breeders share part of the bonus pot, it's right and reasonable that the owners should share a bigger part of the pot. They're going to contribute to that pot. But if we can create demand, if we can encourage owners to buy British, to look at British bred fillies and set them out as high on their list of priorities, then not only are the breeders benefiting from the opportunity of the bonus, but they're benefiting from a more commercial opportunity in the sales ring. It also encourages you to take a chance with a filly. If you've got a family that you want to extend, you may now think it's more viable because of the British bonus scheme, the Great British Bonus Scheme, and to put that filly into training and to race her. I'm a retailer by profession, and that what we wanted to do was to create a point of difference for British bred product. The key to the qualification is the GB suffix. That is absolute. And if we can get foals born in this country, British stallions used, British owners buying British products, or anybody buying British product, then it's good for the industry. It also gives us an opportunity to look and see if we can influence. We are taking a certain amount of money, and that we are going to try and influence, and I believe that we will influence, the habits and behaviour of people at the sales, and the habits and behaviour of people putting fillies and mares into training. It's an excellent opportunity for the industry. It may not be perfect. It may have flaws as we work through it. What we will be doing is reviewing this scheme annually, and that we will improve it as far as we can, and that we hope and believe that if it's the success that it should be, then we can encourage other sectors of the breeding industry to be included and involved. What we can't have is small breeders leaving the industry. Small breeders make up for a third of all of the foal production. So last year, around about 4,500 foals, that's 1,500 foals that came from small breeders, and that they've been leaving the industry. We've got to give them a reason to stay in the industry, to be retained in the industry. The British bloodstock industry is a world-class industry. We produce 24% of the world's best racehorses from a foal crop of 4,500. Second on the list are Ireland, who produce 18% of the world's best racehorses from a foal crop of 9,000. So you can see how important this industry is, and that we have a duty to protect the legacy, we have a duty to protect the jobs, and we have a duty to protect all of our members. We believe that the introduction of the Great British Bonus is an excellent step forward. I commend it, the TBA commends it, and we hope that you will all be fully involved and engaged in it and register all of your appropriate fillies. I'm now going to hand over to Grant Pritchett-Gordon, who's the scheme manager. He will be available to you to answer any questions at any time. He'll be a face available at the sales to promote your product if selling is your game. There will be collateral. This is not a scheme where you are just going to pay a registration fee and that's the end of it. We are going to get behind this. We are going to market this and we are going to sell it as hard as we can. You will have seen the beginning of a marketing campaign already. In 4 weeks, we're gaining traction. We've already registered over 400 foals for the 2019 crop. And that the same applies to jumping, 350 jumpers. So there is a belief out there, there is a welcome out there, and that we intend to make this a big success, but we need you to work with us. I'll come back and speak later on, but now over to Grant Pritchett-Gordon, who'll give you the detail of the scheme. Grant.
Good morning, everyone. Before starting to explain the scheme, I want to refer you to the FAQs, the frequently asked questions on the website, which the website is www.greatbritishbonus.co.uk. And on the page that opens up the website, you will find halfway down the button for FAQs. Click on this and it will take you through to some extensive questions and answers. And everything that I'm going to explain now is on those pages. Next page. Let me be absolutely clear, this scheme is not about colts, it is for fillies. Fillies born in Great Britain, fillies with a GB suffix. And there are two categories of fillies. There are fillies born in Great Britain by stallions that were standing in Great Britain at conception, and these are category A. And then there are fillies born in Great Britain by stallions standing overseas, and these are category B. Category A fillies can win prizes of up to £20,000 in fillies and mares only races. Category B fillies can only win 50% of any available races, but all fillies can race against colts or geldings, but they will be for 50% of the prize money. It'll be 10% rather than 10,000 rather than 20,000 bonuses. And of course, there is one very important thing. There is no limit to the number of prizes that can be won. Multiple races can be won. There is no limit. So which races qualify? On the flat, the races up here are those races for the crops of 2019 and going forward 20, etc. The 2018 fillies running and winning at this year, they have to run the plus 10 races. But in future, the opportunities will be much greater. On the flat, your filly can run in classes 2 to 5 maiden, novices, conditions, and that includes auctions and median auctions. And they're open to 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and 3-year-olds up, but your filly can only win at 2 or 3 years to win bonuses. And over jumps, and jumps starts as from July the 1st, next Wednesday, and these are for all fillies previously registered to National Hunt MOPS. They can start winning straight away. Over jumps, they can run in classes 1 to 5 in National Hunt bumper races, but in bumper races, there are a maximum bonus of only £10,000. And your filly or mare can run in class 1 to 4 novice, maiden, juvenile hurdles and chases, and class 1 to 2 open hurdles and chases, all weight for age and handicaps. And your filly or mare can only win from 3-year-old to 8-year-old to earn bonuses. So how does the scheme differ from previous schemes? In 4 words, GBB is much better. Compared to flat, +10, the +10, well, it's only +8 now. In GBB, they can win £20,000 as opposed to £8,000. And there will be more races, all the class 5, 3-year-old and upwards available. And again, there are no limit to the number of prizes, multiple prizes. And over jumps, National Hunt MOPS has been great, but in GBB, there are bigger prizes, £20,000 for jumps, £10,000 for bumpers, and there are prizes in any sex races, obviously only 50% for mares only races, maidens, and there is no reduction, importantly, there is no reduction in bonus for field size. So less than 8 runners, you can still win your bonus. On page 8, next. The first thing to remember is the scheme has 3 registration dates. For foals, it is August the 31st. Yearlings in the future will be on June 30th. And flat fillies, the 2-year-old ownership stage will be on February 28th. And for 3-year-olds, for jumps, it'll be at 3-year-olds on February 28th. The foal registration costs £3, but there was a discount of £100 for TBA members, making it only £200. The registration costs for yearlings is £200, and then the ownership costs at 2 or 3 years old is £350. Now, dual purpose fillies can be nominated to both schemes, but each registration has to be paid for in both schemes. But there is a £50 discount on foal and yearling registrations. And the important thing to remember about this year is that there is an introductory offer. 2019 foals will only cost £150. And more importantly, they are free to TBA members. But TBA members, still remember, you have to register your foal to get the free nomination, the free registration. So who wins? Well, you as a breeder get 10%. And then if you are the breeder at the time of a yearling sale and having paid the yearling registration, you get a further 10%. Or if it's a pinhooker, they will get that 10%. And then the racing connections at the time of the win will get 80%. And that 80% is divided 7.5% to the trainer, 2.5% to stable staff, 5% to jockeys, and then 65% to the owner. Remember, I repeat again, the foal and yearling registration this year will close on the 31st of August. So how do I register? It's quick and easy. First of all, go to the website, www.greatbritishbonus.co.uk. You will then, on entry, you will need to sign up as a user on the website and then go through to the registration page. And at this stage, please remember to have 2 things. Remember to have your TBA membership number, which will enable you to earn discounts, and also have your payment card ready to complete the registration. Payment card, debit, credit cards. And then if you want a simple guide, this eligibility guide, there are just two things to remember. A tick means that the stage has already been paid. A cross, the registration is required. A tick is already been paid, a registration, a cross requires payment. So I think at this stage, I'll hand you back to Philip.
So what does GBB mean for British breeding? Well, I think it means a lot. If we ever wanted something to help us along the road now with all of the impact and implications with COVID, we need it. And that GBB has come along at the right time. We've already had winners with GBB, and that we've had the winners that we've targeted. Amy Murphy's had a winner for a relatively small owner. Another winner at Beverley, Brazen Bone. We've just had another one at Hamilton, where the smaller owner breeder is involved, included, and picking up the bonuses. So we're delighted with that so far. This is a major incentive for buyers to purchase British bred and British sired fillies. It's unashamedly a British scheme. As I said, create a point of difference for you when you take your fillies to the sales, or when you sit down and decide whether you're going to put them into training. It's an incentive for breeders to produce foals in this country. You have to have a GB suffix. It's no good having a British sire, a British dam, if it is born outside of Great Britain. It will not qualify. And that it's because what we want to do is create opportunity, employment, and retain all of the financial input for Great Britain. It's as simple as that. It's going to encourage, over a period of time, breeders to use British-based stallions. And if we do that, what we will do is that we will encourage more productive and better stallions that come to the UK, because there's a clear message: breed British, and that there is a great British bonus. It's hugely important to owners breeders, this, that, as I said earlier, you know, when you're sitting down and thinking, can I afford to put this filly into training? You'll know whether she's a racing prospect, and if she can win a bonus or win 2 bonuses or 3 bonuses. I mean, 1 bonus alone, if you've paid all the stages, is going to go a long way to paying a year's training fees. 2 bonuses, 3 bonuses speak for themselves. Breeders only receive a portion of this prize, so that when you're an owner breeder and you pay up for the other stages, then you collect the owner's premiums as well. This is a first step to a transformation for British breeding and British bloodstock. It's a step. The TBA is committed to continue this journey. We are with you for the journey. We believe in the industry, we believe in our members, and we believe the importance of this industry. What we need now is you as breeders to support it, to get behind it, and to make it a success. You make it a success, and we will manage that success, and that we will be able to extend this scheme and grow it. I'm very excited about it. Everybody who's been involved with it at the TBA has worked long and hard to get this established. It will transform the industry. It will create a point of difference for British bred fillies, and it will make that difference. I know times are going to be tough, and I know that you'll all be thinking at different times, will I be covering mares next year? Maybe this is going to make the difference, because if we can keep our foal population at sensible levels, and we can keep our racing program at a sensible level, then we have a product that is saleable worldwide, and that we will continue to create the employment and the finance that this country so needs going forward. It's been really good talking to you this morning. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're now going to take some questions.
Okay, so we've had a couple of questions in, Philip and Badger. One that's come in from a member has said, as jockeys will neither financially contribute to the new scheme nor purchase horses, what basis is there for allowing them to share in the bonus?
Okay, so I'll go with this first, Grant, and then you can pick up anything that I miss out. And when I first started to become interested in breeding and the politics of racing, it was self-interest rules okay. That everybody's got their own axe to grind. This can't be the case. We need an inclusive industry. We need everybody to buy in this. We need owners to buy into this, breeders to buy into this, trainers to buy in this, and jockeys to be ambassadors for it. And that excluding people is an expression that provides for an expression that I heard years ago, cheap is dear. Let's do this together. Let's all be involved together. And then we will make it the success that it deserves to be. You want to add to that, Grant?
No, except I'm coming back to the trainers. I think jockeys, I entirely agree about being inclusive, but the trainers, we have to incentivize them. For instance, Amy Murphy, she spec'd the filly for 15,000, that went and won £20,000 the other day. She spec'd it and had 2 weeks of waiting to find an owner. And I think that we have to encourage these trainers to come by and see these horses. Quite apart from training them, they are the ones which are putting the money down on many occasions.
Okay, thanks. Next question is, why do National Hunt breeders now have to pay for registrations as they didn't have to for MOPS?
I'll start with that. It's a fair question, but if we are to get this scheme up and running and to provide the level of bonuses and the level of opportunity, then everybody has got to contribute in one way or another. That we would not have received the support from the levy board and from the industry in general if we would have continued to provide free entry. If you're a member of the TBA, there have been a concession there, and it's a big concession. 2019 yearlings can be registered free, and ongoing there's a £100 discount. And so that we decided that in the interests of getting the scheme through, in the interest of growing this scheme and making this scheme a viable option to develop, that everybody had to pay their part.
And can I just jump in there as well? Of course, as I mentioned on the screens before, there's much increased opportunity. There's many more races, there's much more prize money. We don't have a field reduction size. The National Hunt MOPS convertee is racing for a lot more, and I think it's going to be very good value for money.
Okay, next question. I'd like to register my 2020 foal, but it's not appearing on the website. Why is that, and is there anything I can do?
I believe that is a technical problem that Weatherby's are experiencing at the moment. I think that you all know that the Animal Health Trust has been undergoing financial difficulties, and as a consequence, they were not able to carry out the blood tests that are necessary for foal registration during this year. As a consequence, those blood tests have gone to a laboratory in Ireland. They are being returned, and that my understanding is that Weatherby's expect to catch up on all foal registrations by the middle of July. So what you should do is that you should telephone the help desk on the website, and that they will tell you the progress of the registration of your foal. That is simply the answer.
Nothing to add.
Okay, thanks. And one last question. What prize do I potentially get with a National Hunt bred mare if I win a mares only race? And if I win in a race, also open to geldings?
One for you, Grant.
Well, if she's fully eligible category A, she's running in a race against geldings. So it's not £20,000. She's running for a bonus of £10,000.
Okay, thank you.
That's unless it's in a bumper. If she's running in an open bumper, then it's half of that again. But if she's running in a novice hurdles or novice chases or those various categories, she's running against colts and geldings, she's running for £10,000.
Thanks. I guess I'll add to that she'll also benefit from being in GBB by getting increased prizes in mares only races, and the fact that there's no deduction for reduced field sizes, I think, is a huge bonus of this scheme.
Yep, agreed. And multiple bonuses.
Yes. One last question that's just come in. Would the breeder's prize be paid if the yearling registration was made but final owner registration was not?
Philip or me?
Grant.
Yeah. If you pay a registration for the foal or for the yearling stage, but the owner does not pay a registration, don't worry, you will still get your percentage. It is not dependent on the third stage being signed up.
And I think that's it. We've had all the questions for today. So thanks for joining us. We hope the webinar has been helpful. If you have any further questions that you can think of after the webinar, please drop Grant a line on grant@greatbritishbonus.co.uk or contact him via the GBB website, greatbritishbonus.co.uk. That's been it for today. Thank you all for attending and hope you join us in the future.